What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Nerfherder Council. I am your host, JT. With me are AJ and Steve. What is up, gentlemen? How's everything going?
Good.
It's going great. I'll have you know really quick that I went and got my hat about 2 minutes ago just so we could let AJ feel left out for not wearing an all black Hurley hat right now.
I'm wearing.
I don't own one. I'm
oh my
sorry,
God,
guys.
It's the same hat. What are we doing?
Whose fault is that?
Wow.
I own like 4 of them. It's the only one I buy now.
See, I have the coolest shirt though because I'm wearing the Celebration exclusive Darth Maul pattern hoodie. So that's
I went and I put on the Return of the Jedi one that you hate because you can't get it.
Yeah. You're an ass for that, so But
you just triggered both of us, dude.
I know.
I want that thing so bad.
I know. You got to find that for him for Christmas, Steve. That's a must-have item right there.
It's so comfortable and amazing, and tell
me more, please.
Oh well, mine's a little tight in the middle. Go figure.
Oh yeah, mine are getting that way now too.
I just got the OG Nerfherder Council gear going on here.
There you go. See, I can't wear that when I do the show because my green screen shows behind it, like through the shirt. So I have to be careful with my color choices. So
like Brick, I don't have any legs, Ron.
Yeah.
Where are my legs?
Exactly. So well, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. I know it's not till tomorrow, but hopefully everyone has a good holiday. So thanks for joining us on another episode. We appreciate it. What we wanted to talk about tonight, AJ apparently has some trolls he wants to get to eventually. So we're going to kind of see what's up there. So, what's up, Mark Thrasher? How's it going, man? Got some Johnny Walker Red in your honor. You're the one that turned me on to that at Celebration Chicago last year. So, yeah, so AJ's got some trolls he kind of wants to get into a little bit later, but we had something we kind of wanted to talk about for quite a while. We definitely wanted to get back into Solo. It's been about a year and a half, actually a year and a half to the day, pretty much. Wasn't it May 25th that it came out of 18?
I think so.
18,
yeah, they did it.
2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, they did that on purpose.
Yeah, so it's been out for a while now. And, obviously everybody knows the backstory where, it came out 6 months after The Last Jedi. So, there's a lot of backlash. So yeah, it'd be 2.5 years now. So, but yeah, a lot of backlash. People did not go see it. Everyone tries to consider it the one Star Wars bomb theatrically. But it was an awesome movie. I know all three of us loved it. So we kind of wanted to talk about it again, just because it's an interesting thing to look back at 2.5 years after the fact and see how it has aged. And I got to say, I think it has aged phenomenally well. I don't know about you guys, but I see pretty much nothing but universal praise for it anymore.
Yeah, it seems like after the initial shock wore off of having to deal with Alden Ehrenreich as being Han Solo in the first place and not having Harrison Ford do it. And people finally they had something else to complain about once, Rise of Skywalker came out, so Last Jedi could get a break.
Right.
It seems like they were actually able to go back and actually have fun with it and realize that maybe the stuff outside the Skywalker saga is actually some of the best work that Disney's done with the franchise.
Yeah.
It really seems like across the board, it is like it's like AJ said, everybody specifically wanted to hate the movie because it was the cool thing to do at the time. And they just wanted to hate it because of Last Jedi. And now as the years have gone by, the vast majority of people now that hated it initially are like, oh yeah, I never really gave this a shot. It's a really good movie. It's like, well, yeah, you're just showing that you were an ass 2 years ago when the rest of us were trying to tell you that the movie was good.
Yeah.
And now you're jumping into it later than the rest of us because you're dumb.
Yep. I remember all three of us walking out of the theater being like, in a few months, there's going to be a lot of really pissed off Star Wars fans that didn't get to watch this in the theater. They're going to see it later But and sure enough, that's pretty much what has happened. Is see a lot of comments online saying, "Oh, hey, I wish I would have seen that in a theater." So, let's see here. All right, so Christian Mazer, awesome picture, by the way. I love that. I've got that Black Series.
Yeah,
figure.
that's cool.
Sweet. I got that figure. Woohoo! GameStop exclusive. So Solo was great, but its low turnout was a message to Lucasfilm. All right. Since you're commenting, Christian, you'll have to explain that a little bit. What do you guys think? I don't know that it was so much a message because they really didn't. I mean, besides pushing some movies back, I guess that really was the only thing that they really changed.
Yeah, I don't take too much credit into that. At the end of the day, Lucas and Disney already cashed in every penny that they spent on the franchise with Episode 7. So I really don't think they cared at all about low turnout for Solo.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it was a message, but I think it was the wrong one. Like, people really wanted to express their disapproval of the franchise because of what they didn't like in The Last Jedi. But the message that Lucasfilm got was that these spin-offs really aren't worth making. So they just gave up on the idea, which sucks because Rogue One and Solo were awesome.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting series now instead, but I think, they were obligated to do Rise of Skywalker because they had to wrap up the saga. But otherwise, like all these other future movie plans that they had announced well ahead of time, now we don't even know what's happening with them anymore. We're supposed to get a movie, 2 years from now, 3 years from now?
Yeah. It's December 22 because Celebration that year is going to be out. Or is it? Did they bump? No, they didn't bump it to 23. It's 22 still, isn't it? As far as I know,
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
So yeah, I mean, because Celebration,
and we still don't know who
in 21 is going to be about that.
Yeah, we don't know anything about that movie whatsoever. And by now, they would have announced something if they had a concrete plan. I think because I mean, they announced like, oh, we're getting a trilogy from these guys, and Rian Johnson's getting a trilogy, and all this. And now we don't even know what's coming next. So
yeah,
I think the real problem with Solo's message was that it taught the studio not to bother.
Yeah. What's up, Rural Farm Boy? What's up, Rural Farm Boy? Welcome. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Christian's expanding on it, saying in regards to Last Jedi Backlash, I see it, but I didn't really see anything change as a result of Solo. It's not like, I think, AJ, you made the point, they had to do Rise of Skywalker. So I don't think anything was changing in relation to what they were doing with that movie based on the fact that people, didn't show up in droves to the theater for Solo. I mean, I guess I don't know. I just thought it was a lot of really narrow-minded people that just went, well, we're going to stick it to him because we don't like The Last Jedi. And they ended up getting screwed in the end. And I think most people that
we didn't get a lightsaber fight.
I don't know. I didn't really see. I really think the only kind of backlash from it was, like you said, AJ, like pushing movies back and not doing spinoffs. But other than that, I don't really see that the content changed or anything like that. But I guess to Christian's point, not doing spinoffs, that does kind of suck because now
it does.
I mean, we got the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie coming, or series, excuse me. But I think it's quite obvious that that's basically the movie script chopped into pieces.
Probably,
so,
yeah.
But
and it sucks because all three of us were immediately screaming right after the movie that we were like, okay, this clearly has an open door for Solo 2. And we were almost immediately waiting for it the second we got out of the theater. And it's like, now we might not even get the damn thing, which kind of sucks.
Yeah. Well, thanks for checking us out, Rural Farm Boy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it very much.
I think as far as the movie releases go, I think Last Jedi and Solo were like the worst two movies to slam back to back, because you got Last Jedi that went so far in one direction that everyone was pissed about how that, messed with the formula and wasn't like Star Wars. And then 6 months later, where you're already going to have a tough sell because it's only been 6 months and it's not Marvel. Marvel's like the only franchise that can put out movies that closely and not have a problem.
Yeah.
But then you get the main gripe on Solo is it's just like greatest hits. Like, oh, he got the Falcon. Oh, he met Lando. Oh, and now he met Chewbacca. And so it was like too far in one direction with The Last Jedi, then too far in the other direction with Solo. Disney had to be so pissed. They're like, man, we put so much time and money into these things, and
yeah. I mean, honest to God, I stroke the shaft of Disney a lot. We all know that, but yeah, this was definitely a case of them just making some bad business choices with release dates and the order of movies and everything like that. Like, if you would have did Rogue One and did Solo 6 months after that or a year after that, as opposed to Last Jedi, we might not even be having a conversation right now about it. Like, I think it really was the order of everything, and like Rural Farm Boy just said, it really does feel like it was marketed next to zero. It was almost like, you guys know who Solo is already. We don't need to do a damn thing. And it really seemed like it was just, here's a movie, go watch it.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of like, people were saying we don't need this story. So people got a story that completely threw them for a loop, and then it was immediately followed with something they thought they didn't need. So, so I think, I mean, I don't know. Farm Boy makes a good point. The marketing, I think, played a little into it as well, because, I mean, we were talking about it, how it was, 6 weeks out from the movie, and we weren't seeing this barrage of stuff for months like we had with the other, other releases.
Yeah, and it's not even that it's like a bad thing. It's just that through the years of Star Wars, we've been force-fed exactly that. Like months in advance, you get the trailer, and then you get a little bit of the toys, and you get this and this, and then like you get that last push like 6 weeks beforehand where they really shove it down your throat. And like you just said, we were waiting for that, and it never came. And then it's like, oh, hey, the movie comes out Friday. You guys remember? And it's like, oh shit, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like we got
yeah. Well, this is also the first time they've had the issue of trying to market a film that was in theaters, because it was only 6 months spread. So they had like 3 months they were trying to milk The Last Jedi for theatrical and Blu-ray, and then try to like pivot over to Solo, and people are like, what? I think it just confused people, honestly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I loved it, and I guess it was interesting for me because I'm probably naive, and this kind of like popped some holes in that for me, I suppose. But I just figured it's a Star Wars movie. Everyone's going to go see it because it's a Star Wars movie. I mean, like, look at us. We're like, Star Wars, we're going to go see it. And, even
it's probably what they thought too. That's probably why they didn't market the damn thing. They were just like, once we stamp Star Wars on it, people are going to come in droves anyways. So just go for it.
Yeah. I mean, our cousin, says Solo was a fun film. Didn't need to see everything spelled out for us, though. Even where his name came from wasn't necessary. Still a great film. See, I understand that you don't have to have everything spelled out, but see, one of the things that I love most about the movie was how they did that. And by the way, Mark Thrasher, yes, this is the Celebration exclusive Darth Maul hoodie from Chicago last year. So good eye. Yeah, I agree where we might not have needed all that, but I still think it was a fun story. And personally, I love, how they explain the stuff. I mean, we talked about this in our review of it. Chris mentions, even where his name came from wasn't necessary. Yeah, but they didn't go through some big long thing. It was just Han Solo. And I thought that was awesome because it's like, okay, it addresses it, but in 2.5 seconds. So I thought that was fun. I mean, I liked how they did that because, they showed the important stuff, how he meets Chewie, how he gets the Falcon, how he meets Lando, and the Kessel Run. I think those are the main things you needed. And then they just threw other stuff in there, for the heck of it, the golden dice, how he gets to the BL-44. So I thought they did a great job with it. So
yeah, you're both right, because we've even talked about it on one of our shows before that sometimes Star Wars goes a little too far to try to fill every single crack, and it's just like there gets to be a point where it's like, okay, we don't need all of this, we need a movie of Han Solo like chewing his fingernails for like 45 minutes, while he's sitting at a intergalactic rest stop with the Falcon. Like, no, we don't need to know that stuff. But but swear to God, like sometimes some of the fans, like some of the EU fans and stuff, they they crave that stuff, you know, where it's just like they want to know every stupid little detail of everything. And yeah, that's not necessary. But you're 100% right, John, that like we only heard in passing through the original trilogy and stuff about, you know, how he got the Falcon, and we've heard the Kessel Run, but yeah, so it was nice to actually get those put into a little bit of detail. So now they're not just passing sentences, passing one-liners in the original trilogy and stuff, or the sequel trilogy for that matter, like when he corrects Ray in episode 7 about the Kessel Run and everything, you know, like it changed from just being one-liners to actually giving us a real story, which was definitely cool.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a really, really fun movie. And, you know, it was, you know, the Force Awakens, I was kind of like, okay. The Last Jedi, I was like really thinking really hard during the movie, which, I mean, I loved it, but it was a very different experience for me. Rogue One, I was just sitting there like, oh my God, this is amazing. But Solo was like the first Star Wars movie that since maybe I was a kid, where I was literally sitting in my chair going, oh, like rooting and cheering stuff. Like it was that much fun. And
like the only thing I remember is I remember you hating Chirrut Imwe before Rogue One, and absolutely hating that character until we seen it. And then I think we all kind of, I don't want to say we hated, but we had doubts about the character Alden for Han Solo, but like honestly, like 10-15 minutes into the movie, I swear to God, you just kind of forgot. Like he really did such a good job that I personally, very early in the movie, I really just kind of, that thought went away. I was like, oh damn, this guy's pretty good. You know? It's now I can watch that movie and it's not even a thought process anymore that it's not Harrison Ford being Han Solo. It works. You know? So,
that's the thing. Like people want to gripe about something like, you know, the way they handled Luke's character in the sequel trilogy, for example, going like, that's not Luke Skywalker. That's not how he would act. I've never heard anyone say anything about Solo in his movie going, that's not Han Solo. That's not what Han would do.
Right.
Like they nailed the character and they did a great job casting a replacement for Harrison Ford. I mean, who else are you going to get? So I had no problem with the casting whatsoever. I understood that you're not going to get Harrison Ford unless you're going to like deep fake him back to, you know, the 70s.
Yeah.
Like American Graffiti deep fakes going on. Then we're stuck with what we get, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, could you have imagined the horrid look if they would have just gotten Harrison Ford and just tried to age change the movie with CGI? Like, oh my God, that thing would have been horrendous.
Yeah, that would not have been good. So, real quick answer to a question. This is the image that I found because
this is Obi-Wan in a fez hat.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah. Obi-Wan in PowerPoint. So supposedly, you know, that's where you can see the golden dice if you Google it. So, so there for our cousin. There you go. That's your answer.
That's like you were talking, JT, about how much fun this movie was. That's like the overriding thing for me too. Something like the golden dice. I never even knew those things were there until they started marketing the hell out of them. And I can imagine the writer's room where the Kasdans are sitting there going like, what little plot thread can we pull on and like make a story out of?
Yeah.
And then we get this whole movie that starts with the dice that most people never even knew existed in the movie in the first place. Yeah. Like that's just clever. Like that's one of those little bits of lore that like didn't need explained, but it was like really fun and satisfying to see it play out.
Yeah, they were probably just there on accident in the original trilogy, like the blue jeans guy in the last Mandalorian episode.
Yeah, right? or like the guy with the ice cream maker in Empire, and it became this like thing. So you know, like I mean, and it's one of the things that they're doing so well with the Disney stuff is like, you know, we see it in the Mandalorian, where they take this thing that's like for us the super nerds is some huge big deal, and they throw it in the episode so it looks like something normal, like, you know, it was carrying the Beskar in Mandalorian, and people are like, oh, that's just a carrier thing. Whereas the rest of us are like, it's the ice cream machine. Like,
Yeah, right.
so, you know, and the golden dice was more the same. So, so I think,
Yeah, that and the DL-44. Like, who knew that was a disassembled sniper rifle?
Yeah. And that's, again, one of those quick things that they just did. He's like, takes a gun apart, throws it to me, like, oh, there's the DL-44. Like,
yeah.
so that
I didn't even notice it at the time. It was so silhouetted. I was like, okay, it's a blaster. But it wasn't until later shots that I was like, oh, that's the one.
Yeah. Yep. Mark brings up a good point that, showing Lando and Han, their interaction, it kind of was a little bit of a setup, kind of for the Rise of Skywalker, because it's like, hey, here's bringing in some more Lando. So that was pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it was interesting to see how they met and everything like that. And just seeing, especially how they kind of intimated that Han's girlfriend had kind of, hooked up with Lando. So that was pretty funny. So that was good. But yeah, I think, again, one of the things that hits me the most is that, we, and I know there were a whole bunch of other people that thought this same thing, were completely dead on when we said that this movie was going to age very, very well. And that there'll be a lot of fans, I think, looking back going, man, I wish I would have seen that in a theater. Because, it's first of all, I think the hate for Disney was unfounded. I thought it was ridiculous at the time to say, I'm not going to go see this because I didn't like the other movie. But also, as much as we may not have needed a Han Solo story, he is one of the 3 most popular characters in the entire saga. So, I mean, even if you don't think we need the story, is there really anything bad that could come out of him just running around, kicking ass in the Falcon? Like, I mean, it'd be like if they made just like a standalone Darth Vader movie. I know like a lot of the original trilogy basically is, people can say it's like a standalone Vader thing, whatever. But I mean, honestly, like, do we need a whole movie of just Darth Vader? No. But would we go see it? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, 100 minutes of him just force choking people like the end of Rogue One.
Yeah.
Give me 100 minutes. Yeah, give me 100 minutes of that. I'm stoked, man.
Yeah, just make it like a horror movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Him just chopping heads off and force choking people.
Yeah.
And, my God.
Feel like when I was playing all the time when I used to play the Force Unleashed games and stuff, when I would just grab people with the Force and hold them in the air and then impale them with the lightsaber and then bring it back. Like that was 99% of my gameplay was just killing people in the worst possible ways imaginable. And I'm like, if I got that in a movie, I'd be stoked, man.
Yeah, that was my favorite go-to move as well. Yeah,
either that or throwing people out the windows on the spaceships, and then the thing would close really quick. Yeah, after you busted the window out.
Yep. Yeah, here's
you got a good point there, JT. Though, I tell you what, of all the original trilogy characters, I think Han Solo is the best one for a standalone because, like, running down the rest of the cast, I'm trying to think like, who else could you like drop into a one-off movie and tell a complete story where like, well, where's the continuation? What happens next?
Yeah,
this is perfect for that whole like, okay, you get a fun little dose of like 2 hours of Star Wars. You don't need to see anything that happened before, and you already know what happened after, so it's perfect.
Yeah. So two things I'll bring into the discussion here. Eric is a great point. We were just talking about little things like the fix for the 12 parsecs explainer was awesome. He's like, not if you round down, where he said that was awesome. The life debt type of thing. And as for your question now, AJ, I agree with Christian. I really think that Lando would be the best choice. Thrasher says Yoda.
No way. You need a full-blown Chewie movie, not a single word spoken during the entire film.
It's all subtitles. It's like a foreign film, but it's Star Wars.
Dude, I thought they announced that they were doing a Lando series at some point on Disney Plus, didn't they? Or is that just one of those rumors when everyone was like, "Oh, well"?
I've heard about that. There's a Lando. I've heard about a Boba Fett series, a Lando series, the Obi-Wan series. So,
yeah, if you're online, pretty much everybody is getting a series. I think Porkins is getting 6 episodes. It's going down the line with Disney Plus. As long as people keep watching, they're gonna keep trying to shoehorn more characters in.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really think that Lando is probably the most obvious choice. I mean, what Luke basically, the original trilogy is his standalone, so you don't need that. And unless you're going to do like a post Return of the Jedi thing where he's establishing the new Jedi Order, but then that's kind of interesting because you kind of know where it goes. But I mean, I guess you could do that. There hasn't been a lot said about Leia, so maybe you could do that. But I mean, does she have stuff that's interesting enough to expand into an entire film?
I want them to go and make a Luke series. That way, everybody that says that's not Luke, that's not how he would act, I want them to make that. So all those people have to eat that shit.
Yeah, I agree.
just Luke on an island being all crotchety and angry towards everybody the entire time. That way we can all three of us can sit back and just be like, idiots.
It's just like him against the caretakers. It's like an intergalactic version of Grumpy Old Men.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So our cousin wants a lumpy movie. So of course that would give us bitter beer face Itchy, so that's good.
Itchy's getting 12 episodes from Disney Plus too.
I would love to know how many people watching this show have ever actually seen the original holiday special, because it's so god awful.
I've made it through only a few minutes of it. I got to be honest. I mean, it's like,
how many people want to admit to watching it? Jesus Christ.
Since we're talking about awesome Solo is, if you want to look at the other end of the Star Wars spectrum, then you've got the holiday special.
Or it could be like a couple of idiots getting drunk and watching the Ewok movies on stream one night too.
Oh boy. Who does that? Oh, look at this liar. Look at this liar. Look at this guy. Look at him lying. You did not love it. Shut up, Mark. You are so full of crap. No, there is no one that loves the holiday special. And if they do, they have a YouTube channel or some kind of social media account that they're trying to get clicks for. It's called clickbait. Okay? No one
Mark,
loves
better
the holiday
TV movie, the holiday special or Kiss meets the Phantom of the Park?
Oh, gotta be Kiss meets Phantom of the Park.
I mean, they're both awful. I don't know what the hell 70s TV specials were, but they apparently were all hot garbage.
Yeah, but Phantom of the Park at least has a Kiss concert in it, so at least that's kind of cool.
Oh, I mean, I've never seen it.
Yeah, it's got kind of. I mean, it's look up clips. It's awful. I mean, put it this way, it's so bad that Ace Frehley's stunt guy is a black dude. So, what? Yeah, Ace Frehley is a super white Bronx, New York guy, and they get a black dude as his stunt guy. So the budget, as big as Kiss was in '78, apparently the budget was not that big. Oh, all right. So Farm Boy watched it when he was 11. So okay, so he's all right. So Farm Man, 11 years old in '78. So he's literally the same age as our older brother. All right. So he saw it. All right. Christian says, "Oh my God!" So you back-to-backed it, huh? Christian back-to-backed the original holiday special with the Lego holiday special. Okay,
Christian, you gotta take better care of yourself, man. Love yourself a little bit more.
he needed 90 minutes of the Lego one to cleanse the palate from that piece of crap he was watching first.
I was gonna say, I'm actually getting ready to watch that one probably like this weekend or something, to tell you the truth. So,
all right, look at this. I could ban people. Look at this.
Hey, you got to take the 30 and change it to a 20, okay?
That's
the last 30. You can take the first 10 and be okay, but the last 20, that's the rough one.
Yeah. So Eric is saying, what's worse, watching the Browns for 30 plus years or the original holiday special? If you go back 30 years, there's some good stuff in there, because now we're talking about like the end of the Kozar years, and so you do have that. But now if you're talking about 20 years, it's been a rough ride. So yeah, kind of hard to argue with that one. So, but yeah. So anyway, what do you guys think is going to happen with Solo? Because there's, back to the original topic here.
We were all trying so hard to remember what the hell we were talking about.
Well, that's why I have to lead the show, because I remember how to get back into these things at least somewhat. So
ground chatter in there, it becomes an entirely different show.
Yeah, yes. Right.
So, are you asking where do we want it to go, or where do we think it's going to go?
Well, obviously that hashtag Make Solo 2 Happen thing blew up to the point where even Ron Howard saw it, and the stars of the movie were tweeting it, like Jonas Suatomo was getting into it, and I think it's gained enough traction now to where people at Lucasfilm are aware of it, and I think there's so much groundswell for Solo to continue in some way that I don't see how they can't address it at some point down the road. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, 100%. I really hope so. Even if it's just a Disney Plus thing, like you mentioned the Kenobi thing, that it's probably just cutting up the movie and putting it into 6 episodes. Do the same thing with Solo. Like, you left the door open. Lord knows that most of these guys don't have anything else going on in Hollywood as it is right now. And it's just like, it makes way too much sense to just tell that story of what happened to Kira and with Maul appearing. And obviously there's a lot more story to be told with Han and Chewie between that and episode 4, when you see them again for the first time, air quotes. So it makes, even if it's just like a 6 episode thing, there's something there that you could easily tell and be good too. Like, I don't even think it would be a horrible story. Like, you get the same characters back and you do the damn thing right, and it would be good to watch. I wouldn't even understand for the life of me how it would not be good.
Yeah. Well, as soon as Solo ended, we pretty much looked at that and said, okay, the next movie is a perfect segue into bringing Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt into the thing.
Yep.
Because that's obviously where he was going, was Tatooine to hook up with Jabba. So that starts telling that. You had all the Crimson Dawn stuff with Maul. There was any number of directions that you could have taken it. So, what do you think, AJ? It's almost like it's an inevitability, I think.
I agree. Everything you just listed, we know that they love telling Maul stories. They've got all the characters in place to continue the story from the movie, and all the stuff they keep bringing in is all like Legends stuff, and they love all the book material and stuff like that. Yeah. The Tales from the Mos Eisley Cantina was like a hugely popular series of books, so I could totally see them just wanting to set all that stuff up. And you've got so many directions that stuff can go too. Like, it's not like any of the stars are even too big to do the show, because they're getting top level talent. Yeah. So you could totally get Jonas to be Chewbacca. Alden Ehrenreich, I don't know what else he's doing, but I haven't heard his name. So
nothing.
I'm guessing he'd be back for Solo, no problem.
Yeah.
Game of Thrones is done, so you got Kira lined back up again. So it seems really easy to get this done. Honestly, it's probably just a dollars and cents thing. Like, just back a money truck up to these people's houses and get the stupid thing done.
Yeah. Well, at this point, using the technology that they're using in the Mandalorian with that giant back screen, apparently it's made this stuff I can't say really affordable, because everything's relative, but from watching the behind the scenes, the behind the scenes thing on Disney Plus about the Mandalorian, it's cost effective. So they've got money to spend in other areas. And don't all these actors, when they sign on for these movies, sign on for 3 or something just in case? Or is that just a bull crap? Or, Farm Boy put in the comments, I didn't put it on the screen, but he said, don't believe rumors and stuff. Well, maybe that's just a rumor that I read that was full of crap, but I thought they always sign these people on for multiple projects just in case something blows up and they want to,
You would think so, especially a company like Disney and stuff. You'd think that they would want to lock that down without having any issues, but
I'm sure they're padding out options.
Yeah.
You notice how now video games and animated stuff, you get the original actors in all these kinds of other things that they never would have shown up in before. So I'm guessing they have all those loopholes closed in all their contracts. Be like, we don't know what we're going to need you for yet, but we're going to lock you down for all of it. and then just, exercise our options if we want, kind of a thing.
Yeah. Rogue Squadron series is the perfect setup for Fast and Furious style Star Wars films. Yeah, that's a good one. I really like the Battlefront 2 book, with Iden Versio and Inferno Squadron. So I think that would be cool if they had more stuff with them. That was really good. So yeah, I just think that Solo, 2 would be the one that would grab the fans the most, because I'm on board with you, AJ. Like, I think it's cool that they're bringing in all this EU stuff, and bringing out like stuff for the Legends fans that are really into it, and then bringing it into actual canon. I think that's cool, but I think if you're going for mass appeal, you've got to stick with the stuff that everybody knows, and characters like Han Solo and Lando Calrissian and Jabba the Hutt are so established, and then especially considering the retro popularity of the Solo film, I think that's their safest way to go. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see how they handle it for that reason. So, oh, look at this. There we go. So Christian says, girl from Rogue One has a 2-film contract, rumored to be working on a prequel story. Yes, please, more Rogue One.
Oh, that's right. Was it Felicity Jones?
Yeah, I do believe that's who it was.
JT,
I cannot remember.
JT. Where are our names?
Yeah,
Why are names not showing up?
She did mention that she would be like totally down to reprise her role, but she died at the end of the last one, so we're not going forward with that timeline.
We're not doing that. How about no? Man,
I wonder what they would have. I wonder what their plans would have been to get her into 2 films. They must have known. Well, no, actually, the plans weren't originally to kill off the character at the end of the movie, was it?
I don't remember.
I don't know.
I honestly, I don't remember.
The story I heard was that they had 2 versions because they originally wanted to kill off everybody, but they didn't think the studio would go for it. So they wrote a version in which she got off the planet.
Okay.
So
yeah,
maybe
I never even read that.
Deal came in.
Yeah, I didn't either.
I just learned something today, I guess.
Well, okay, so that's to circle back to Solo. You know how they're doing like the Zack Snyder cut on HBO Max of Justice League?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they're taking like all that unused footage that they, reshot to make the feature film and turning it into a series.
Sure.
Do you think they would ever do anything like that with Solo? Because, there was, I don't know how much that movie done with Lord and Miller before Ron Howard took it over.
There was a reasonable amount. I mean, they had a lot of stuff shot, and they basically weren't making them do multiple takes. They kind of went for a very live feel, and apparently there was a lot more humor in it. So they had to redo a lot of stuff because they like to get, like in Star Wars, they like to get a ton of takes so that they can, kind of piece things together as they go. And then if there's other unused footage, they can go do things with that. And I guess there wasn't a lot of that to do. So it was almost like a kind of like a what you see is what you get. So, but so yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Lucas was famous for shooting a ton of extra stuff.
Look at this. We saw her die. What are you talking about, Mark? I think Mark's been drinking too. We saw her die. I don't know. The whole big explosion you could see from space, and they were, I don't know, a couple hundred yards away from it. It's pretty self-explanatory there. I mean, see, this is what Ravens.
Well,
we
didn't see their charred remains like Aunt Beru and so
right.
We don't have receipts, damn it, so they might be alive.
Christian asks, aren't they doing an extended recut of Last Jedi? I had not heard that. Pretty much it's what you see is what you get. So I think anytime you hear these rumors of, oh, there's an extended cut, there's a this, there's a that, like I think it's all pretty much, I mean, especially with, Lucasfilm. I love them. They're doing a great job, but I think we know that their ego is big enough to where they're not going to make a move like putting out another cut of a movie, because that's going to be like, okay, well, all right, sorry, online trolls, maybe you'll like this one better. And I don't think there's any way that any large corporation is doing that, much less one like, Disney Lucasfilm. I don't think that's,
Yeah, that would definitely be a rough one to try to go and remake. Oh, yeah, there you go.
There you go. There, fake news, recount the bodies. Yeah.
Hey, those could have been anyone's skeletons. We don't know.
Yeah.
Right.
How do we know that they weren't dead already before the
Good point.
Maybe
they were 102 years old, damn it.
Maybe Baru burned something in the kitchen and it was just a house fire.
Who knew blue milk was so damn flammable?
Yeah. Well, considering we've talked many times that it's actually booze, it would stand a reason that it's flammable. I don't know. Maybe the power plug was all frayed on that Cuisinart she was putting the vegetables into or something. The stormtroopers actually had nothing to do with it. They're like, you see Luke going, oh my God, the stormtroopers with their charred bodies out there, and the stormtroopers away in the background going, boy, that's got to suck for that guy. I wonder what happened to them. And then they just keep on trundling away. Like, that's one of those little known stories we'll get later on. Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru were killed by a kitchen accident. Yeah. That'll be one of those Disney shorts. Aunt Beru's kitchen accident. And that's what happened. She had a kitchen fire from the Cuisinart and tried to put it out by dousing it with blue milk, which is flammable because it's alcohol, and the whole damn place went up. We just figured it out. We just solved the actual death of Lars and Beru. Or Owen and Beru, excuse me. Yeah.
You think their corpses were just left there?
Yeah.
Like we never saw Luke do anything with the bodies, so maybe he's just like, peace out. I'm not doing this.
Luke just showed up and started kicking sand over the top of them.
You look at the end of The Rise of Skywalker, Rey's burying the lightsabers, and you see these charred bones still sticking up from like where the stairs were.
She opens the sand, and a hand is like sitting there to greet her.
You see the ghosts of Luke and Leia turns to Luke and goes, Jesus Christ, you never cleaned that up. And he's like, oh.
How the hell did I know they'd come back here?
Oh, I thought I'd never be back here. What the hell do I care?
Thought I was the only person obsessed with moisture evaporators, and I didn't know she'd come back here. The damn hands
are boy.
The hands are still smoldering a little bit while she moves the sand out to bury the lightsaber hills.
That old lady thinks Rey's actually the cleaning crew come to get this. She's like, oh, finally, those damn things have been an eyesore for like 60 years.
She's like, nope, I'm just here to bury more shit, lady.
Yeah. What a-hole leaves smoldering corpses of bones? Can you believe the jerk that used to live here? And Luke is going,
the force ghost of Luke just starts walking backwards, and Leia turns around to look at him like, hey, do you know anything about this? And he just disappears before answering anything.
Sorry, I got to go back to the force. And then
nothing. Yes, Yoda, I'm coming.
Leia's like, damn it, I haven't learned that trick yet. I can't follow him. So back to Solo.
Yeah.
No, it's the wrong segue. We got to talk about AJ's trolls now.
Yeah, we don't need a segue for that. We just figured out Star Wars greatness.
Yep.
So AJ,
we have given them a lot of great ideas over the years. That's for sure.
Yeah, we could be writers for Star Wars in some capacity that probably would make us about $15.28 a piece. So,
Hey, we'd have our name in the credits. That's all that counts.
Yep.
Yeah.
name in the credits, and I would frame that check and hang it on the wall. That's for sure.
We'd be right in the. They'd purposely put us right in the middle of all the Japanese guys, where everyone just sees a bunch of like A's and J's and stuff. So you don't know how to say them. They're like, I'll just wait. I'll wait till later in the credits to see if I recognize the name. We're like, damn it. We were so close.
What? We would find it and we would screen cap it and we would highlight our names and it would be online the next day.
Farm boy, you know what just happened? The Nerfherder Council.
Yes.
That's what we do.
Yeah, don't ever let your internet lapse for like 11 seconds because it'll come back on and you'll think you're just listening to something completely new.
If you come to our show for nothing but intelligent, like well thought out Star Wars content, you're probably at the wrong place because we have some of that, and then we have like ridiculous bullcrap like we just did. So
sometimes we really talk about nice things and then something shiny appears in the distance and we can't help it anymore.
Look, you can't
you got it.
Yeah, exactly. We have derailments all the time. Derailments all the time. So
that's like the one constant with this podcast is that don't ever tune in to think that we're going to stay on topic for anything.
Yeah. All right. So before we get out of here, AJ, you actually you said that someone was being an a-hole on a Reddit thing, and Steve and I can't follow Reddit worth the damn.
Yeah, right. Somebody's being ass on Reddit. Wow, that's news.
Yeah.
Where's the breaking news sounder?
Yeah. What was that, AJ?
What did you call this segment?
Oh,
Nest of Gundarks?
Yeah, we could call it like into the Rancor pit, falling into a nest of Gundarks, like
So yeah, I try to keep my opinions to myself online actually because I know that it invites disaster.
Thank you, Rural.
I thought, like an actual. Okay, wait a minute. We should really go back to that other comment.
Which one?
About Lando and L3.
He did.
Oh,
100%. 100%.
That was the inference, wasn't it? Oh, it works.
Yeah, I trust her. It works.
100% that happened. Before and after she became the Millennium Falcon. It happened both times. Believe it.
I don't even want to think about that.
I was just going to ask if we really needed to deconstruct that because there is a lot of logistics involved.
We saw R2 have sex with the thing many a times over all the movies, sticking the little prod in and turning it side to side. We know what the hell that was, okay? Lando. Yeah, Lando.
You just blew
R2,
my mind, Steve.
R2 had Lando's sloppy seconds. Write that one down too. Another great Star Wars idea.
There are glory holes all over that galaxy.
And we wonder why we keep getting nailed for like mature content. Wow. That's what was it like in the something dark side? Oh man, how am I supposed to run with this? Oh my gosh. So yes, that was intimated, Chris. That's all right. So before we get really gross, all right, bring up your troll thing, AJ. So before we get derailed again into something that gets really gross.
Okay, so I tried to just like post something positive out there. Just someone posts something about Star Wars that isn't like a flaming pile of dog crap. That I was like, oh, I'll back this up because someone had mentioned that they thought that the sequel trilogy gave us gorgeous cinematography. And one of the top comments said that having actual lights and the lightsaber props helped. And you guys know that I'm huge on the lightsaber stuff. And I mentioned this in Force Awakens, right, JT? Like we walked out of there, I was like, oh my God, those lightsabers looked awesome, right?
Yeah.
Because like I've always had that gripe. Remember my prequel gripe was like the CG characters always had light being cast on them by the lightsabers.
Yeah.
And the live action guys never did because you could tell it was, thrown in after. And that was always like a big peeve of mine. So like when I saw actual light from actual lightsabers on the actors in the sequel trilogy, I was like, this is phenomenal. This is everything I've ever wanted. So I said that. I said, completely agree. The saber effects alone made this trilogy for me. I knew we were in for something special when Kylo froze the blaster bolt and you could see it like casting off the troopers and Poe as he was being dragged past and everything. I got lit up for saying that I actually liked that. And that was like one of the highlights of the trilogy for me was proper lightsaber effects. It's just unreal to me how everyone can find something to bitch about, even when you're saying you like something.
Yep. Welcome to the internet. Today must be your first day.
So yeah, we live like Kermit the Balrog here.
We live in a world where Baby Yoda is a bad guy for eating eggs. Now he's apparently a bully for taking the kids' cookies in the last episode.
Yeah.
We live in a world where people are complaining about the female Mandalorians having armor over their boobs. So, I mean,
I didn't see that one.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
Seriously, off show here, I will have Gwen send you the link to that thing on Facebook or something. They are literally complaining that the women have armor shaped like their bodies. Oh my God, it's horrible.
Yep. Anatomically correct armor is a no-no.
Why is that a bad thing?
They liked it better. Like the stormtroopers. The stormtroopers just have one suit. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. They thought that was like a big thing for Gwendolyn Christie to have the exact same armor as the men. So they feel like sexist to frame the female form like that.
Again, if you're watching Star Wars and these are the things that you're noticing, maybe stop watching Star Wars because your head's really not in the game.
Yeah.
So also, anyway, it's like getting upset at Slave Leia. It's like getting upset at Slave Leia because that thing happened a long time ago. Like they didn't design Bo-Katan for the Mandalorian. They just took her Clone Wars appearance and Rebels appearance and made it into a costume. So you got to go back to like 2012 if you want to really get hot about it.
So AJ, not surprised that you are getting blasted online for liking a lightsaber effect. And this is I don't know, this is probably our annual podcast of me always having to say at least once a year how much I hate Star Wars fans. Like this is just another one of those things, but I mean, this is down the line. This is sports fans, politics. Like, dude, it's everybody always feels like there has to be just an extreme white and an extreme black, and nobody can meet anywhere close. Like you can't just enjoy things. You have to hate it or you have to love it. And if you do hate it, I love it, now you're an ass because you see things differently than me, and that's just how we're going to act because this is the internet, and that's how I act like when I can hide behind a computer screen.
Yep. I agree. Yep.
Yeah, I got an LMFAO from Kermit the Balrog. He said, the fact that the lightsaber effects made the trilogy for me shows just how low the bar is set. Because, how dare I like something?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, especially from the sequel
you really
trilogy.
Put me in my place, right?
Yeah. You are trash, AJ. How dare you like things from the sequel trilogy?
We had another person complain that while they like the lightsaber effects, Skarn Michael Ping says, too bad not a single lightsaber touches one another in The Last Jedi. So we got our Last Jedi dig in there for not having saber on saber contact.
I would make that joke if I didn't do that 50 minutes ago when the podcast started.
Right. I mean,
I'll reiterate. It sounded like.
See, rural's like us, man. He loves all Star Wars. Comes from the OG. Yes. I mean, look, it's, we don't love all Star Wars. Like Rebels is, we're not big Rebels fans, but we're with you. I mean, even bad Star Wars is cool. I mean, so.
Unless it's a Resistance.
Maybe it's not cartoon people. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to hold back on that one. Maybe I need to watch a couple more episodes, but oh boy, that one is definitely low on my list.
I think that the biggest problem with Resistance is it's just inconsequential. I don't think it's bad. It's just there.
Yeah.
But, what do you think about this take?
It's no Itchy in the holiday special, that's for sure.
What do you think about this take? Apparently, several times when lightsabers met flesh, nothing happened. J.J. Abrams does not know how lightsabers work.
Which movie are we talking about?
No idea. Must be 7 or 9, though.
Well, I mean, you can make that argument about any of them.
Well,
I mean, how many times?
I do remember in episode 8 when the one lightsaber hit the flesh of Snoke and it cut him in half, and that would not happen totally, right? Oh, I'm stupid.
That was Ryan Johnson, though. That wasn't JJ.
Oh, okay. I forgot that was a JJ thing. Yeah, okay. So Ryan Johnson knows what the lightsabers do. Okay.
Yeah, and how many times have we seen like someone cut somebody with a lightsaber and it just makes like a big flash of light across them instead of, I don't know, cutting into them or cleaving them clean in half and all this. Like, I mean, like that's Star Wars. They do have to play the kid element a little bit and not have like mass, like, you know, abattoir style carnage everywhere.
Do you mean when George Lucas did it in episode 4 when the lightsaber hit Obi-Wan and his clothes just dropped to the floor while he disappeared? Is that what a giant beam of light from a sword would do to a person?
He turned into the Force. Yeah. So what else you got, AJ? Like,
let's see. We actually have some good stuff too, though. I didn't want to, end this show on too much of a down note. So
okay.
Beelzebub, nice to hear from him.
Yeah.
Nice to know that our Dark Lord is on Reddit. But
well, if he's not busy, at least we know he's on Star Wars Reddit.
he's working overtime this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say
when you're not burning souls in eternal damnation, he's on Star Wars Reddit.
Right.
This one was interesting, though. This guy said the story needed more coherence, but as a fan of the EU, a lot of the stuff made logical sense based on previous lore. So he's pulling from stuff that was written in Legends canon and saying he filled his own plot holes, basically. How do you guys feel about that? Do you think it's cool to be able to bring in your own stuff, or do you expect it to all be there on the screen for you?
I don't have a problem with it all being on the screen. I don't have a problem with it you having to fill in the dots, because I think, as we talked about earlier in the show, Disney's done a great job of kind of doing things to where, I mean, like, we've talked about this many times, about The Mandalorian, where like the average idiot, the average casual fan, there we go, casual average fan, the casual fan can watch the show and get everything out of it and understand everything. Whereas people like us, there's a ton of extra stuff in there that is great for us, but nobody misses anything from like the overall story.
Right.
So they've balanced that so well that I don't mind if they're putting stuff in there that, people, if they fill in their own, conclusions and stuff, or use their own knowledge of previous, previous materials. I think that's great.
Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with that. Like giving the people who know a little bit more just that little bit extra, to in each episode or each movie or whatever. But yeah, John's 100% right, where it's like, if you don't know that stuff, it's not like you are left in the dark with the storyline after that. Then we would have a problem if you watch like the new episode of The Mandalorian, you're just like, I don't get a damn thing because it's all inside jokes. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, that would, we would get it and we would love it, but how much shelf life is that going to have on a platform like Disney Plus, where they're trying to suck more people into, the product? It's just going to be like, well, I don't understand this. I mean, I've got a couple of friends who aren't really big Star Wars fans who love The Mandalorian, and it's because, they're like, oh, I can get into this. Like, this is my speed. So the fact that they can do something that is for them and also for us, I think I like that. So, that's my official answer, AJ. I love it personally. I think it's great. So,
yeah, I think they're doing a good job balancing it out too. The Mandalorian's a good point, because like the Darksaber, Bo-Katan, all the stuff they're bringing in to the show, like from the end of last season and through this season now, like a lot of people haven't seen the animated stuff to know where it comes from. It's so cool to see these people like completely uninitiated and see if they can follow the story. And the answer is yes. Yeah. And to know that, if they want to go back and check out all the lore about it, they can, but it's not required. Yeah. It's great that it works on like so many levels,
Yeah. I think it'd be cool if they had like a show that kind of explains all the Easter eggs. So that, again, the casual fan can see all these things and go, wow, that's really cool. It might, give them something more to latch onto where Star Wars is concerned. They could kind of look at it and be like, oh yeah, well now I kind of want to learn more about this, the pearl and the crate dragon and stuff like that. Who's that guy that showed at the end of the first episode? Like a lot of people didn't know that that's Boba Fett, which is a huge plot thing.
Mhm.
So, even something little like that. So, all right, you got anything else, AJ, or?
I think we're good, man.
All right. Yep.
It's a good positive space to leave it. And
I agree.
we didn't even get around to talking about the latest episodes of Mandalorian, so we'll have to circle back on that next time.
Yeah, we'll have a couple episodes more to talk about in the next episode. So yeah. So that was fun. I appreciate all you guys that are watching and tuning in. Thanks for coming around and subscribing and checking out the show, Farm Boy. Christian, it was great to see you. Cousin Chris, everybody. KXM was here again, so thanks a lot, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you guys again. We do this every other Wednesday at 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So feel free to tune in. You can find us either on our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, and you can comment along live with the show and be a part of what we're doing here, including.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. We got 2 more episodes for the rest of the year. Isn't it kind of crazy when you put it in podcast terms of how much time we have left?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Wow, we really do.
It's insane. Like, I was just thinking about that while you're talking. I'm like, wow. I was trying to think how many episodes of The Mandalorian we could talk about. I'm like, well, we'll get 2. Well, technically 3, right, for the next podcast now. And then I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, we're in the middle of December at that point. I'm like, then our next one's like December 23rd. Like, oh my God, dude, what the hell?
That's awesome. Yeah. Man. All right. Well, all right. So 2 more. So
we'll see what shape I'm in for the next one, because that'll be week 3 in a row of working remotely, being completely shut up at home here. So pray for me.
Fun.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, everybody, thanks again for checking out another episode of the Nerfherder Council. Don't forget, you can get your own customized Nerfherder Council swag at shop.nerfherdercouncil.com. So go check that out. We are brought to you by Audible. Go to audibletrial.com/NHC for your 30-day trial and a free audiobook download. Highly recommend that. I go through audiobooks like they're candy at this point because I'm doing a lot of driving to and from work. So make sure you go check that out. We are going to be getting these podcasts out back on our audio platforms here real soon. These guys were supposed to do that in the last episode and apparently did not. But so we will be back on all of our audio platforms. Yep.
Hey, I caught Corona, man. I had shit going on.
I don't want to hear it. Get this shit up. Anyway, so, eventually we will be back on the audio platforms as well. So our main one is Spreaker, Spreaker. Check us out there. Just look up pretty much any podcast apps and you can find the Nerfherder Council there. Leave us a 5-star review or whatever good reviews are on that particular platform. Hook us up and do us a solid, leave some kind words for us. And again, you can find us
or don't, but give us the 5 stars anyways.
I like that. That's the best way to phrase it. Yeah. Just talk nice about us on the internet. So, the website is nerfherdercouncil.com, and you can find us, as I said, on YouTube and Facebook. So until next time, I am your host, JT at Dog Pound Jedi. He is AJ
at Drake Adams 579, and I am serious. Be careful out there, guys. Wear your masks, wash your hands. It's going around. I got 3 people I know of that have it right now, including myself. So be safe, take care of yourselves, have a great Thanksgiving, and we'll see you on the next one.
And he is Steve.
John, keep the squares 6 feet away from each other on the next podcast, okay?
Get social distance on
we got social distance. We got to make sure we don't catch digital Rona. At JSteve1005.
And the show page is at NHC Podcast, and we will catch you next